I'm so happy to hear that the GI Bill served our nation's heroes. That makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, I was able to
Well,
go to grad school.
yeah, you get to go to grad school. You give your time, and my son right now he's in his last year of his enlistment, and he's looking into returning to VCU. He did his first year there, and now he's going to do 3 more. So thank you for his service, and thank you. We say thank you by giving them an education. Um,
Yeah.
anyway, how do you use your degrees? How do you use your degrees?
Oh, actually, so I work for the Department of State. So
Mm-hmm.
the international relations and economic component kind of play into my work. I work in arms control. So my office is the U.S. National Authority for the Chemical Weapons Convention.
Okay.
So we work with the United Nations and the OPCW, which is the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, to enforce the Chemical Weapons Convention.
Mm-hmm.
And so my resume whole reads Department of State. So
Awesome. Well, we're here. We're live. So I'm going to take my mask off because now Rolando and I are not in the same room. We're
all right,
separate, so it's safe for us to have our masks off, staying
all
fully
right.
compliant with COVID-19 protocols. And we usually get together with people from the studio or even outside of the studio and chat about, what's going on in your life. On everyone's
Not
mind is
much lately.
COVID-19. Yeah, I know. On everyone's mind is COVID-19. So on Tuesdays, we usually talk about it. So Rolando, thank you so much for joining us. My
My
first
pleasure.
question for everybody. Oh yeah, thank you. My first question for everybody is, how'd you get started with yoga? Whatever made you walk into the hot room?
Yeah, it's something that I've been meaning to try for a while. I just was never really too open to it, I
Okay.
guess.
How'd you hear
Yeah,
about it?
well, I mean, I'd always seen people do yoga, heard people do yoga, but and you understand this coming from a military background, Marine Corps background. It's one of those things that were just like, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm too macho for that.
Sure.
Um, but I'm into like intense athletics, and also I have a lot of wear and tear in my body from the military. So I was walking around sore a lot. I was just really sore. And I got like an email. I've only been doing yoga for 3 years, the Bikram series. I got an email from it's like Core Power Yoga. You do a free class. And I was like, okay, why not for my birthday a while back? And I was like, well, I'll try it to see what this is like. So I tried something called Hot Power Fusion. And I don't know what it was, but it just kind of like clicked. And so I wanted to develop my practice further. So I wanted to seek out a legitimate like hot yoga studio. So
Right.
that led me to my old studio, Hotspot DuPont.
That's amazing. And when did you walk in? When was your first class?
3 years ago, like last fall.
Right.
Three,
Okay.
3 falls ago, something like that.
And how often were you practicing?
At first, it was a trickle, maybe twice a week. But then I started to go a lot. I just kept going and going. I mean, I was putting in some Malcolm Gladwell hours. So at my seriously, at my height, I was probably going like 3-4 times a week. Then I was a
Awesome.
karma yogi, so I was spending a lot of time there.
So you did karma work with Carol Ann as well.
Mhm.
Carol Ann was the former owner of Hotspot DuPont. And then what did you do during quarantine? I mean, when all the studios closed back in March, what were you doing?
A lot of sleeping, a lot of eating. Honestly,
That's a pretty normal story.
Really, especially in March, April, May. Physically, to be honest, not much. And I live in a studio, so there was a lot of at-home fitness, at-home yoga. I tried it. I don't have that much room. So to be honest, up until certain things started to open up in phase 2, I wasn't really doing much of anything.
Mm-hmm. Were you? Was it getting to your mental health, or were you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Was
absolutely. I was doing a lot of sleeping, an inordinate amount of sleeping. Yeah, no, I definitely. I was getting a little anxious. Yoga is one of those things. Initially I sought it for the physical benefits in terms
Right.
of being, alleviating a lot of muscle pain I had, being more flexible and pliable. But I think more than anything, it was like that something about the mental aspect just clicked, and I don't even know what. I don't know how, but something just mentally clicked to where you just walk out feeling so relaxed and so zen in a way that I can't really replicate in any other activity or meditation or I don't know what. So I was definitely hurting the first couple of months of
Wow.
quarantine.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty typical story. But then in phase two, I know you live in DC, and the phases are different in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. But we opened in, I think, June 15th, we opened. And you came shortly thereafter. So how'd you find us?
Yeah, I think I started coming in like July, something like that. So another buddy of mine that I used to practice yoga with, and then we used to go to the same gym in DC. He used to live in Virginia. He used to come here. He used to come here into the Falls Church location. His name is Kevin.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, you know, Kevin's really cool guy. My best friend in DC. He suggested this place because we were both talking about how much we really needed yoga.
Great.
You know what I mean? Some of the gyms are starting to open, so we started to go back to the gym, but we really missed yoga. And I don't know how he heard, but he sent me a link, and it was like, hey, let's check this place out.
Probably he's on our email threads. Yeah, I remember you guys coming back together. I remember you guys coming together. Yeah, and then an Uber, right? You're like, he's coming.
Yeah, that's right.
That was so
he
great.
lost his phone in the Uber. That's right.
He lost his phone in the Uber. Oh, but then the Uber driver found him. I loved
that's
it.
right.
Yeah, that
That's
was
right.
awesome. I know, like the 2020 chaos compounded with that.
Yeah, his anxiety was at an all-time high. I was like, hey, I was like, relax.
So
We're about to get into a yoga room. Don't worry about it.
He was so sweet. That was really fun. But then your journey, your trek out to us is really something. How do you get here for every class that you take?
So to be honest, it's actually really convenient. I mean,
Okay.
It's a hop, skip, and a jump. It's not, you know, before it was maybe like a 20-minute walk to my last studio. You know, I walked from my apartment to Hotspot. But to be honest, it's not bad of a commute. I live right close to the Foggy Bottom Metro on the Blue Line, and you guys are literally right off of the Metro right here. So
that's amazing.
It's very close. And I think it takes me about 35 minutes. Something like that. It's a straight shot on the Blue Line, so it's not a bad commute at all. It's not, you know, it's not too big of a hassle.
Yay, to get to say something positive about the DC Metro is rare and fantastic. So
that's very true.
I'm so happy that we get to say that, and it is kind of a bit of serendipity that you're on the Blue Line. Because I think it's only Blue Line, maybe sometimes yellow, but we're all the way out here.
Well, yeah, no, I'm really happy that you guys are really accessible. I mean, at least as far as where I live, it's really convenient because in order for me, I don't know about now with some of the restrictions that are coming down in DC, the further restrictions anyway, but there were a couple of studios I think that were open in DC proper, like in Ivy City and maybe somewhere else. A couple, I forget, but to be honest, for me to get to them, it's actually a lot more of a pain. Like I would have to take a bus to a train to another bus, and it would take like maybe 50 minutes in commute each way. It's easier for me to get here.
Well, I'm happy that you can get to a yoga studio, but I imagine it was very sad when DuPont had made the final decision not to reopen. So
yeah, I cried. I legitimately cried, and I'd only been in that studio for a few years, but I mean, I put a lot of myself into that place. There was a lot of little blood, sweat, and tears in that studio. You know, I was practicing yoga the day my old dog died. You know what I mean? I was like literally crying doing savasana, you know.
What was your dog's name?
My dog's name was Emma.
Emma.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. But you have a new dog, right?
I do. I got one of those COVID puppies.
A COVID puppy.
Yeah, you know, it was 2 weeks to stop the spread. It was pretty clear this is going to last longer than 2 weeks. So yeah, I got a new dog. Her name is Josephine.
I love it.
But no, she's a sweetheart. But yeah, no, I was definitely heartbroken when Hotspot closed. It was something. It wasn't even. I did a lot of Bikram there, but there was also Yin. It was a space that I incorporated into my routine. It was you know a big part of me, and so I was really sad when it closed.
Yeah, we were so sad. Michael and I went down to see Carol Ann's husband, and basically to say goodbye. And through the whole process, it felt like a funeral.
Yeah, I saw there was like an email sent out last minute, but I didn't even get a chance to go because I think it was during the week. So I was at work. I wish I would have gotten to give it a sort of a proper goodbye, to be honest, or even kind of one last practice. I literally practiced there the day that they closed everything down.
Wow.
I knew that they were going to close things down. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to go. I just saw that last minute email that, hey, tomorrow we're gonna go and close up shop if you want to pick up your yoga mat. So it was a little anticlimactic, but yeah, I was really sad. I still keep in touch with some of the instructors and some of the people
That's
that I
great.
met there for sure.
It's a very small Bikram world. I mean, the world is small when you look through a Bikram yogi's lens, because
Yeah,
we're all over the world. And I knew most of the teachers that taught at DuPont. Um, so,
they were
like I
great
said,
people.
we're
They
still
were great
connected. Of
people.
course, yeah, they are. I went to see Bikram for 9 weeks. um, then, so then, what would you tell the students, because that studio is closed, and there aren't a lot of studios that have reopened. Some, but what would you tell them? Because the hotspot students are welcome to come here. Carolyn and I talked, and she asked me if I would sort of provide safe refuge for anybody who had paid for something. And I said, sure, if they're willing to make it to a Virginia studio, I am there for them. But what would you say to them?
Yeah, no, this is an amazing studio. I would say they should definitely come over. I certainly feel at home here. It, you know, it I to get to Hotspot wasn't to get to here isn't such a bad commute for me. So it's accessible. It's not too much further than Hotspot. The instructors here are actually really fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna lie. Just I've only been practicing yoga for a few years, but I've turned into a little bit of a yoga snob on the side. It's really embarrassing. And so, but no, all of the instructors here are really top notch. I'm really surprised by that, like pleasantly. And the facilities here are amazing. They're clean. It's a high quality studio. I really like the hot room here.
Well, you're a big
So,
part of the cleanliness.
oh, that's a
Rolando is one of our top notch karma yogis. He helps clean the studio. He follows the COVID-19 cleaning protocols so that all the classes are cleaned before and after, and so we can be as safe as possible when it comes to cleaning standards. And I was so happy that you asked about it, because we always need someone to help and support those classes, and we're happy to exchange yoga for that, because it's such a vital part of keeping a studio open, clean, and safe. So
it's my pleasure to do so.
yeah, it's
It's a way
wonderful.
to give back to the yoga community. I've gotten so much out of the practice in a very short amount of time that like I said, it's my pleasure. But yeah, just getting back to the original question, this is an amazing studio, and I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, thank you.
And it's one of those things where the quality of the practice and the instructors and the facilities at Hotspot was really high, and I was a little bit of afraid and hesitant to branch out into any other studio, let alone this one, just because I didn't think anything could match it. But again, this is a really, really good studio, and I'm
Oh,
very,
that's
very happy that you guys still are open and provide a space to still practice.
well. Thank you so much. I mean, I want to thank you for your service to our country,
Um,
and for recognizing that as a result of that service, your body might have been a little broken, and you came in and took care of your body, which ultimately led to connecting with your spirit. The body and the mind are they're only going to be able to let the spirit in if they're healthy and continuing to work towards that health. So it's exciting to watch you go through that process. We all are. So it's every single time I meet someone new, I watch them and I see their process, and I think, yep, that's the yoga. That's why we come together. So thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow. I know your next karma shift is tomorrow.
it is. It is. No, it's my pleasure. Practice here. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Thanks.